And so the Democrats are onto something, and you know, they have nothing to offer. They offer no alternatives. They offer no solutions to anything. All they do is engage in hysterical histrionics. And the President of the United States is now on that. In fact, is anybody struck by the absolute irony that this administration, in order to reestablish credibility for this president, is having to talk about what a great foreign policy president he is? I mean, here's a guy who ran for office saying that we had a President Bush who spent way too much time with foreign policy, didn't care enough about the people at home, and this guy's in so much trouble at home, he's got to point to things that he has not really done, but yet he's trying to take credit for, which is, as usual, in foreign policy. Bill Clinton personally is responsible for Middle East peace, ladies and gentlemen. And Bill Clinton personally is responsible for peace in Bosnia, never mind the fact they're still shooting at one another. I just find it ironic, but the president's now joining his other Democratic buddies in trashing Republicans. I want you to listen to something from the Saturday radio address, because this contains a good indication of exactly what the president's strategy in dealing with the Republicans on the budget is going to be. Watch this, or listen to it.
Some will claim these tax hikes aren't really taxes. They'll search the dictionary to find every possible way to avoid using that T word. Well, in Washington, they may not call it a tax increase, but when the government makes a working family pay more, it sure feels like a tax to them.
Do you get this? The President of the United States is trying to accuse the Republican Party of the party of tax increasers? What? I mean, you know, there's a word for this. It's called chutzpah. I mean, the party, you mention tax increase to a Democrat, and it's like showing Dracula the cross. It's like the sun's coming up. You seriously mention tax increase to any Democrat, and they just can't stand it. They run for the casket and pray for sundown. I mean, it's just... And now he's running around saying that the Republicans want to raise taxes. Here's the guy. You remember back during the budget battle, with the Clinton tax increase in 1993 budget deal, he said that he was going to cut the Social Security budget. You know how he did it? He raised taxes on Social Security recipients. So a tax increase, he called a budget cut. What he's now saying the Republicans are doing, in the student loan program, for example, if you take out a student loan, I got bad news for you. You have to do what the rest of us do. You have to pay it back now. Yes, you do. And furthermore, to make it really tough on you, you have to pay the interest immediately. You have to start making interest payments from the day you start paying back the loan. You can't wait for 6 years or 4 years or whatever the length of your college stay is. The president's calling that a tax increase. It's not a tax increase, but that's what he's going to try to say. He's got the willing accomplices in the press to help him. He's got the rest of the hysterical Democratic Party apparatus that's going to start now accusing the Republican Party of tax increases. And one of the reasons this is happening is because there are some Republicans who are starting to get a little antsy about continuing to plug for a tax cut. And I think the Republicans ought to just stick to this tax cut business. There is no way they should cede this issue to the Democrats. The Republicans should maintain in the minds of the American people the fact that they and they alone are the place you go if you're an average citizen and you want relief from the confiscatory taxation of this government. Because the Democrats aren't going to cut anybody's taxes. But now for them to run around and say the Republicans want to raise your taxes, I mean, it's clear they've got a lay of the political landscape and they know what negative connotations that holds. So what has to happen here, the Republicans have to point out, hey, wait a minute, who has raised your taxes? Just go back to 1993 and list the names. There wasn't one Republican that voted for the Clinton tax bill. One Republican who voted for the budget deal. And the Republicans, this is why they should ignore the polls and just stay bold as they can on this and realize the tax cut issue is theirs and they shouldn't cede it. Don't get squeamish. Stay focused on this, and a landslide re-election is theirs to be had if they'll just do what they said they were going to do and keep the Democrats hysterical.